Within the first 7 seconds of meeting somebody, you've already made assumptions about their character. Some studies even suggest that within a 1/10 of a second, that's this fast, that means that if you're new to this channel, you have already made some assumptions about me, and it's okay. These assumptions come to us naturally without us even thinking about them. It's what we do in the next steps that determines our interactions going forward. In this video, I'm going to give you the tools in order to challenge these assumptions and give you the practical ways in order to ensure that you build good, strong relationships in the workplace and don't fall into being accused of age discrimination or Youngism. If you're new to this channel, my name's Crystal and I'm a mediator with Korero Solutions. Our channel is dedicated to helping you become the leader that you deserve to be. People at any age can be discriminated against. We can call this ageism, age discrimination, or Youngism. So what can you do in order to tackle this issue and make sure that you are not exhibiting any of these behaviors within your workplace? The first tool is to identify your biases. Figure out if you see somebody, what immediately jumps into your head. These are biases. If you do not know the person, then whatever you've assumed about their character, about their personality, these are all assumptions and biases that you're making. Write them down and start challenging those and getting out of the current story that you're telling yourself about that group of people. Clarify your assumptions. When you meet somebody and you're working with them and immediately you think, oh, I know what type of person they are. Instead of jumping to that conclusion, get to know the other person because they may actually surprise you and be exactly the type of person that you enjoy working with. And you'll never get to know that if you don't talk to them and ask the questions. Find exceptions to the rule. We all know people that say you always, you never. We generalize these people. And guys, you can't generalize because nobody is always and never anything. If you are willing to look for it, there will be exceptions to the rules. If you go into a conversation expecting somebody to disagree with you or to agree with you, when they are speaking, all that's going to happen is you are going to be picking up on what is going to confirm what you had assumed they would. This is called confirmation bias. So if you enter into a conversation saying, oh, Joe's really lazy, and you hear Joe saying, oh, you know, it's really hard to wake up in the morning. Ding, Joe's lazy. Oh yeah, the other day or on the weekend, I slept in and you know, I lounged around the house. Ding, Joe is lazy. These are all things that you're going to then associate with their character instead of hearing, oh, on Friday I went out and I was building this and then I went on a hiking trip and then I went and did this activity. You miss all of that because you're looking to validate what you perceive as the truth and what you perceive as their characteristics. You need to let these go in order to fully hear and understand who that person is and what they are actually saying and trying to tell you about who they are and what they can offer to you. If you're finding this really challenging to look at somebody else right away, take a second and take a step back and think, what judgments could people be making of me? Because I guarantee no matter how great of a person you are, there's going to be somebody that looks at you and says, I really don't like that characteristic. No matter where there's a good, there's also a bad that can be seen. So look at what judgments people could be making of you and start flipping them. And that way, when you go and see a bad characteristic in someone else, start flipping it. Do a little bit of a mental exercise and actually turn it into something that could be beneficial and a trait that you actually do admire in people. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever experienced ageism and what that's looked like or what the impact has been on you. I really want to hear your guys' stories to understand what other information or topics you would like highlighted within this realm. As you heard so far, the biggest part about breaking down ageism and Youngism and age discrimination is really getting clear on what that looks like for us and the role that we play in it. So challenge those assumptions. So now what do? You've identified these biases. The first is seek to understand. Get to know that other person. Ask them questions and be genuinely curious. Take away their age. Just think that they are another coworker. Guys, I get it. This can be challenging because again, we're battling our own assumptions here. And no matter how much pre-work you do, there's always going to be a little bit that seeps in here and there. So you just got to quiet that voice in the back of your head. But go in and be ready to listen. If you want some tips on how to be a better listener, I've linked a video. Go and check it out so that you can get more information on this. So you're going to go and you are going to have a conversation with this person. And what are you going to ask them? Just to tell you something about themselves and how they want to work together moving forward. If you have questions or if you find like, that's not really aligning, dig deeper and ask further clarifying questions, because there's going to be some nugget about them that you will be able to work with and you will then see as a benefit to your work environment, your team, and maybe something you can even learn from them. I know it's challenging sometimes to think that this person that we don't think adds value can actually teach us something. You can start building that rapport and that relationship and getting to know them a little bit better. Within that, look to find their value in your team and what they bring to your team and what you can bring to them. Great teams help each other. So how can they help you and how can you help them? You're not going to figure this out without taking time to get to know them and asking them questions and being genuinely interested. Third, be open to a dialogue. If they want to have a conversation and they want to ask you questions, be open to it. Make sure that this is a two-sided relationship, that they can come to you and seek information and you can come to them and seek information and clarification, and be willing to work together because that person is there. So make the best of it. And if you're able to demonstrate that you can get along and get the best out of people, guys, this is going to make you look so much better and propel your career and increase your network, because you can find value in every single person that you work with. So do it. It is worth it. It is worth the time and the investment. If you are struggling to understand the value that they are bringing, seek clarification and seek to gain an understanding, whether they're older than you, whether they're younger than you, even people that are within the same generation as you are. Seek to gain that clarity and ask questions, because when you need to problem solve together, they are going to be able to offer a completely different perspective than you. You come from different backgrounds, you come from different experiences, you've had different major life events. By being able to tap into this and the different perspective, you are going to find such a wealth of knowledge, and you guys are going to be able to problem solve so well. Everybody has wisdom that they are able to give you. So find a way, because otherwise you got a lot of learning to do. If you're able to find these people of different generations and you are able to not give into your first temptation to paint them with this broad stroke that they're not somebody worth working with, you will be able to latch onto that and run with your team all the way to the finish line and come up with the most creative, the most dynamic, the most well-rounded decisions. But in order to do that, you need to challenge your initial assumptions. So make sure that as soon as you have one of those ideas that is creeping up in your head and painting somebody with a general brush, that you know that is the time, that is your warning bell to sit down with them and clarify your assumptions. Listen to this. The number one thing that you need to do to avoid acting poorly in your behavior is to clarify your assumptions that you are making about somebody, whether it is their intention, whether that it is their behavior, whether it is something that they have said, done. You need to clarify assumptions before you react. Otherwise, you will be stuck in this vicious cycle. Get clear on why they're doing what they're doing, what supports they need to change it, and what they want to change moving forward. And you can do this for yourself as well, because as flawless as we may think we are, there's always stuff that we need to work on. Even if you identify your own triggers and your own red flags, there's also those bullies that are in the workplace. If you want more information and this has turned into a bullying situation, I've linked a video in the description below about how to address bullies if you're in a leadership position. Remember to do something today that's going to change your tomorrow. Until next time.